ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। हरि ओम, salutations to all. So we are seeing in this 15th chapter, Bhagavan said, those who have the eye of knowledge, Pashyanti Jnana Chakshusha, they understand very clearly that our true nature is the Atma. Essentially we are Sachidananda Swarup Atma, identifying with one body, then we have become the Karta, and then we act in the world as a Jiva, fulfill desires. While that process is on, we cultivate more desires, so then we need new bodies. So Utkramantam Sthitam Vapi Bhunjanam Va Gunanvitam. Identified with the gunas, this Jiva goes through all the karma phalas and takes new bodies. Vimudha Nanu Pashyanti. Those who are deluded, they don't see this. Actually, it is consciousness which has forgotten itself, identifying with one Jiva, then is going through all this. Like the actor who has forgotten his main identity. Then who sees? Pashyanti Jnana Chakshusha. They who have the eye of knowledge, they will see. So that Bhagavan said in the 10th verse, then he said that Yatanto Yoginas Chainam Pashyanti Atmani Avasthitam. Those who are these yogis, they put in this effort, and what do they realize? Atmani Avasthitam. They realize that consciousness is their own true self. Now please remember, Atmani Avasthitam does not mean the inside the Atma, because that Atmani is 7th case. So now people will start again thinking, Atmani Avasthitam, inside my Atma is the Paramatma. No. Atmani Avasthitam there means as the Atma. Shankaracharya writes that in his commentary also. As the self, they who see themselves that my true nature is Atma. By Atma we mean Sachidanand. So yatanto yoginas chainam pashyanti atmani avasthitam. Why? Because these people have integrated their body, mind and intellect. They have studied as per the Shastra. The commentary says, based on the scriptural logic, they have studied. They have got the reflection, they have done the reflection, they have got the clarity, and they also have cultivated purity of mind by surrender to Bhagavan. So it is not only simply studying. See, many people don't even study properly. They don't reflect upon it. Any random books they start reading, any random commentaries or interpretations, then one gets more confused actually. Like how we saw last time that the word Ishvara means Jiva there. How will we know? See, many people who don't they have not studied in the parampara, they don't have sometimes knowledge of Sanskrit, they are just trying to give modern interpretation, then one will not be able to have the clarity. One has to study properly, reflect, be very clear what does this shloka actually try to say. So that's why I'm just going to tell you one thing which Anand Giriji, he says. Anand Giriji is one who wrote uh, notes on the commentary of Shankaracharya ji, Tikas, what we call. So, what he has written is this. So, he says here that the wisdom I here spoken of refers to the Shastra, scriptures, aided by reflection and reason, which is Nyaya Anugrahita. This forms the proper means of knowledge, meaning proper reflection and logic, scriptural logic one has to use to understand how my nature is the Atma, how I am not the body, mind, intellect. So this is one aspect. Second aspect is purity of mind, which is cultivated by bhakti, by surrender to Bhagavan or to the Guru, where the Sadguru is there and one understands that Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. With that bhav one surrenders, then that purity of mind comes. And then most important after that, after in the sense, not this is not in sequence. This is actually the first one. What I'm saying now is the first one. And what is that? So he writes here, Shankaracharya himself has written that those people who have not done tapas and not subjugated the senses, they will not realize. That's what is meant by akritatma. Yatantopi akritatmanaha. Kritatma means they have subdued their senses, they have cultivated purity of mind, they have the scriptural knowledge and proper logic. Akritatmanaha. They have not subdued the senses. So even if I study a lot, if my senses are not in my control, I eat anything, drink anything, talk anything, listen to any gossip, and I say, the world is meant for enjoyment. We just that we should not get attached to it. At some point, one will say all this, but if one wants to realize the truth, at one point one says, enough, I played with the toys, now turn within. How long one will keep playing with the toys? Again, I'm saying that doesn't mean one will never enjoy life outside, but the focus is never on enjoyment then. One will do whatever comes on the way, but there is no, the purpose is not enjoyment. The hard work one is doing is not for enjoyment. It is incidental. If it happens, it happens. It doesn't matter if it doesn't happen. One is more focused on who am I, the witness, being aware of my true identity, or I am a bhakta, whatever is my identity. So, Bhagavan says here that yatantopi akritatmanaha nainam pashyanti achetasaha, because their mind has been hijacked by the senses, by the sense objects. So Bhagavan says, nainam pashyanti achetasaha. Now, when he has said this, in this 15th chapter, we find there are 20 verses. They are in sets of four. Four themes are there, five verses each. So, samsara vriksha and how to come out of that samsara vriksha, and what is the sorrow of the samsara, what are the qualities required to come out of the samsara vriksha, what is the detachment to be done, all that. So, first 5 verses cover that. Then, next 5 verses, 6 to 11, covers this portion of the identity of the jiva. Who is this jiva? And how this jiva and atma are one. Now, that same atma, which is none other than infinite consciousness, which is jiva and brahma are one, is Ishvara, and it is by the light of Ishvara only this whole Srishti also is going on. So in the next set of 5 verses, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. They will talk about this expression of the divine in the world. So, from this verse onwards, the 12th verse onwards, Yadadityagatam Tejaha. Yadadityagatam Tejaha Jagadbhasayate Yachandramasi Yachagnau Tattejo Vidhi Mamakam. So, Bhagavan says here, Yad Aditya Gatam Tejaha, that which is the light in the sun, which is in the moon, which illumines the whole Srishti, Jagadbhasayate Akhilam. Yad Chandramasi Yad Aditya Gatam, Jagadbhasayate Akhilam, which illumines the whole world. So during the day, the sunlight is there, during the night, moonlight is there. And even when the moon is in Amavasya time, then Agnav. So Agnav means all the other lightning, fire, electricity, all that. The symbolism is that. Bhagavan says the light of all the three, Tat Tejo Vidhi Mamakam. Know that light to be my light. Even one hears that, then one says, oh, this is not very scientific. We know that sun is a hydrogen helium ball. It's a star. And moon, we know it is one satellite of the earth. And fire, we know how it is produced. See, we may know only the chemical composition, the nature of the physical body of the sun, physical matter of the sun. But that capability in that, from where it comes, is the source. So we have to understand it at three levels. One, we have to know that when Bhagavan says, Yada Rityagatam Teja Jagad Bhasayate Khilam Yachandramasi Yachagnav Tat Tejo Vidhi Mamakam. Know that power to be my power. There, who is that Mam? That Mam, first interpretation is that Mam is Brahman, existence. That without which nothing will exist. That pure existence is Bhagavan. Now, without that existence, sun will not exist, moon will not exist, fire will not exist, creation will not exist, nothing will exist. It is like saying, in a limited example way, the pot, the pitcher, the cup, the saucer, all these things, they are only forms. Mud is the essence. If mud is not there, this won't exist. Same way, sun, moon, fire, all these, our physical bodies, everything is only form, is appearance. The truth is consciousness. So that is one understanding. And that is what Bhagavan said earlier, ki that is Atma. Which means to say that the Atma is not inside me as one little thing. God is not inside. God is our true Swarupa, which is infinite and which alone is the substratum of the whole universe. That is why we say Atma and Brahman are one. Atma is the consciousness enlivening one individual body, mind, intellect. Brahman is the substratum of the whole Srishti. That changeless truth beyond Desha Kala Vastu, beyond the limitations of space, time and object. Desha Kala Aparichinna. Desha Kala Vastu Aparichinna is what we say. So Srishti rises in Brahman, stays in Brahman, goes back into Brahman. That substratum, like the water is a substratum. Waves rise, stay, fall. Water doesn't get affected like that. But without that water, there is no wave. If the wave thinks I exist independent of the water, that is the stupidity. There is no existence of wave apart from water. Same way, if we say, no, all this is existing without God. God is not required to run the universe. Very good. Then you produce, no? And you run the universe. Let us see. Even if a scientist wants to produce something, they have to use what already has been produced. Space, air, fire, water already are produced. You and I didn't produce it. We can only explain ki, okay, this, if we put two molecules of hydrogen and one molecule of oxygen, water will be formed. If a salt will be like this, NaCl, that is salt. We can explain the composition of that, but we didn't produce that. How it came, from where it came, why is it having those properties? Those questions we don't have answer to. We may say it to some extent, sometimes we may give a little bit of explanation also. Scientifically, we do some more discovery, we will know. But even then, the source has to be understood. Source is not only matter, source is consciousness. So one is to understand it is consciousness alone which appears as all this. Like the waker's mind alone appears as everything in the dream world. So we say Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Chara Acharam. This whole creation made up of moving, non-moving things. Tatpadam Darshitam Yena. One who made me see that this is appearance of consciousness. My salutations to that Guru. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Now the second way to understand this is, in Brahman by itself there is no Srishti. But if I am seeing Srishti, if I am seeing creation, then of course it is Brahman using the power of Maya becomes Ishvara, and that Ishvara is appearing as all this. So Ishvara only has become the material cause as well as the instrumental cause for the whole Srishti. Like the waker's mind alone is the material with which the dream world is made and the instrument with which the dream world is projected. There is no separate entity. There is no separate things, because infinity is one. Beyond space-time object, that only using the power of Maya creates, sustains and destroys the world as the Ishvara Tattva. So when the sun, moon, stars, fire is not there, also Ishvara is. Like even when the waker wakes up, the dream world is gone, but the waker is. The wave falls, but the water is. When there is no wave at that time, one doesn't say, where is water? Water remains, wave comes and goes. Same way, this BMI and the matter and this whole Srishti rises for some time, stays and falls. That's one reason why it's called Jagat. Yadaditya gatam teja jagat bhasayate akhilam. Jagat word, the word Jagat etymologically, not etymologically actually, but as a acronym, like how we say in English acronym, like that in Sanskrit the acronym of that is what? Jagata. Jayate, gacchati, tisthati, iva. Iva is very important in that. It is born, it disappears, as though in between it stays. It's very short while it stays. We understood that in the beginning when we learnt about the samsara vriksha in the 15th chapter. So everything is temporary, changing. What is the changeless substratum? Is consciousness. Material things also came from where? From that same source. Which today science also is talking about singularity. Unified field theory, singularity, all that is what? Where one is trying to understand ki, finally everything is merging. From singularity everything is emerging, into singularity everything is merging. Science has also come to that same conclusion only. So the point is what? When Bhagavan says that Yadaditya gatam teja jagat bhasayate khilam, one standpoint is to understand that everything is appearance of consciousness. Second, material things also are nothing but Ishvara. So if somebody says, where is God? Show me God. See all this. This is God only. Who else is this? What else is this? God is not something separate. Gurudev always said the effect is nothing but cause in another form. The cause of the creation is definitely beyond time, space, object, is timeless Brahman, becoming Ishvara, appears how a spider, where the Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad says, Yathornanabhi srijate grinnate cha. How the spider creates a web from itself and brings it back into itself, withdraws it into itself. In that way, Supreme manifests the creation and again takes back. So who is appearing as the Srishti? Bhagavan only. So it is the light of the consciousness which appears through the sun. That is one way to understand. But the very property of the sun to give heat and light, property of moon is reflected light of the sun, and as well as it provides coolness and all that. It is all coming from the divine only, because effect is nothing but cause in another form. And that's why the cause of the universe cannot be something finite. We can never say space, air, fire, water, earth is the cause of the universe. That is only material cause. The intelligent cause is the will of the divine. And it is the will of the divine which makes that sun have that power of light and heat. In very small, limited ways, you can see that happening in our bodies or not. That's why the Upanishad says what happens in the macrocosm is happening here in the microcosm, and what is happening here is happening out there. Pinda and Brahmanda, they are one only. Are we not seeing that our mind has to have a thought first? Then the brain will send signals to the body. Then the actions will happen. So subtle is always first, then the grosser will happen. So the will of the Lord, and we are very clearly able to see that how many diseases are psychosomatic diseases. They are induced by stress, worry, tension, anxiety. They are not just at the physical level. Some are at the physical level, but many are at the psychosomatic level. So it is the power of the intent. And there are diets. Think thin diet. You keep thinking about your body in a certain way, the body will respond in that way. Obviously, one has to back it up with enough control on food and all that, but the intent. So if Bhagavan says that the sun must have light, it will have light because it is his srishti. And when we say it is his srishti, he and we are one in the true nature. Identified with the body, I am a jiva, Bhagavan is Ishvara. Then I did not create the sun, moon, stars. I am also a part of the creation as a jiva, Mr. So and so. But if one drops this identification, then Pashyanti Atmani Avasthitam, what Bhagavan said earlier. So second way to understand is the material things also have come from Bhagavan only. And so if somebody says, I am a student of Vedant, why should I worship Bhagavan? That person has not understood Vedant. I am Brahman, why should I worship Bhagavan? If you are Brahman, then you are the very cause of everything. Then the question doesn't arise of worship. And you won't feel offended. Why? Because you are worshipping yourself only in the true nature. But second is this, as long as I am a jiva, I see the whole Srishti as divine. So if somebody says God is nowhere, Vedantic says God is now here. God is not only now here, God is in me, God is me. That is what Vedanta will say. So inside, outside, antarbahi cha tat sarvam vyapya narayana sthita. Inside, outside, everywhere, there is only one Narayana who is there. No difference. Like the pot is submerged in the water. Inside also in the ocean, suppose, or any well, lake, wherever. Pot is in the water. The inside the pot also there is water. Outside the pot also there is water. Pot is in water. Same way, antarbahi cha tat sarvam vyapya narayana sthita. Narayana alone pervades the whole thing. And to that Narayana, I surrender because he is infinite. I am limited one jiva. I serve the Supreme. That is another way to understand. Ki all the properties of the items also come from Bhagavan. No, Swami, that I can't accept. Okay, go one more step in Vedanta. You believe that all this is five elements, no? Five elements came from where? Space, air, fire, water, earth. These five elements came from Maya. Maya is whose power? Power of Brahman only. Brahmashraya Sattva Rajas Tamo Gunatmika Maya Asti. So Maya is, it is the power of Brahman. Brahman can exist without Maya. Maya cannot exist without Brahman. And that Maya only then, because of three gunas, Sattva Rajas Tamas, when they come into imbalance, because of the will of the divine, Srishti happens. Five elements will come, then the combination of the five elements, the whole Srishti will be created. So materially also whatever we are seeing, experiencing through the senses is divine. That bhav one has to have. We saw this even in 10th chapter, so I'm not going to go into a lot of elaboration, but I'm just mentioning that. Where Bhagavan said, Yadyad vibhuti mat sattvam shrimadurjitam evava tattadeva avagachatvam mama tejomsha sambhavam. Whatever is glorious in this whole Srishti, know that it is born from a small, little, tiny, infinitesimal part of my divine glory. Mama Teja Amsha Sambhavam. Sun, moon, all these are his glories. So in Vibhuti Yoga also we saw, even in the 7th chapter it comes, that sun, among the luminaries, Bhagavan is the sun. Jyotisham Ravi Ramshuman, he says. Sun, moon, all this. So materially also Bhagavan's power only is manifesting as this whole creation. As consciousness, yes. As the very material properties of that item also, that sun is, the light of the sun is because of Bhagavan's will. And so if that Bhagavan wills, ki there will not be any sun, there will not be sun after that. Suppose Bhagavan says ki the sun has to become cool. Oh, sun will become cool. However, what will be the consequence of that? What will happen to life on earth? That is different. But if Bhagavan wills, it will happen. And if Bhagavan wills that you live even without the sun, you will live. Rana Swami, this we cannot accept. This all goes into the mystic realm, and this is all very, illogical. See, our logic has limitation. The idea here is to understand the totality and surrender the ego. Because there is a mighty power. Whether we know it or not, whether we accept it or not, it is there. Everybody is searching for that only. Even science is searching for that only. They can't accept, they can't understand how matter is having sentiency. Then they are coming to that conclusion, it is consciousness. But that understanding and this Vedanta understanding, there's a little gap in that, but eventually it will get filled only. So the point is, materially also it is Bhagavan's will, Bhagavan's direction that all this sun is able to give light, moon can cool, fire can give us heat, light, all that. Then we come to subjective clarity also. Sun represents the eyes. We saw that earlier. Tattvabodh says Chakshusha Suryaha. Presiding deity of the eye is the sun. Manaso Devata Chandrama. Presiding deity of the mind is the moon. Vacho Vanhihi. Presiding deity of the speech is the fire. Which means what? Not only the world outside, the capability in sun, moon, fire to give light is because of Bhagavan. Capability of these, the equipment here also is because of Bhagavan only, because of consciousness. If the senses don't have the mind behind it, senses will not be able to function. Mind should have consciousness behind it to function. Otherwise, mind can't function. That's why it is called the mind of the mind and the eye of the eye in Kenopanishad. The speech of the speech. Those exact three are given here. Yan manasana manute yena ahur manomatam tadeva brahmatvam vidhi. Know that to be Brahman, which cannot be thought of by the mind, but because of which the mind thinks. That is Brahman. And that student has gone and asked this only. That first question of student is that. That keneshitam paradi preshitam manaha केनेशितां वाचमिमां वदन्ति केन प्राण प्रथम प्रैति युक्तः केच केनेशितं पतति प्रेषितं मनः केन प्राण प्रथम प्रैति युक्तः केनेशितां वाचमिमां वदन्ति चक्षुश्रोत्रं कौ देवो युनक्ति. Who is that deva? Who is that illumining factor? Who is illumining this? The mind, the pranas, the speech, the ears, the eyes. Who is illumining? Because of which this BMI is functioning. So just like the light of consciousness empowers that sun, that same light of consciousness enlivens this BMI also, the senses. So when he says Yadadityagatam Tejaha Jagadbhasayate Khilam Yat Chandramasi Yat Chagnau Tat Tejo Viddhimamakam. This is only example. Sun, moon and fire. We have to see this everywhere. Outside, inside. Both. Outside, when we say from where the water gets the sapidity, that is from Bhagwan. From where this pizza is able to give us some excitement, from Bhagwan only. All the things which are made. Obviously, it doesn't mean that everything is divine, so I can eat and drink anything. That Bhagwan already said. Akritatmanaha achetasaha na pashyanti. He gave us the Viveka Shakti. So this knowledge should not be misused, saying that everything is divine, so alcohol is also divine. Chalo, lagao. They have guna, sattva, rajas, tamas. And which will increase my sattva that I should use so that I go beyond the good three gunas. As a human, that's the privilege I have. But if I don't choose properly and then I misuse this philosophy, that's why Bhagavan says also at the end of the Gita, ki give this knowledge to those who are adhikari, who have cultivated some basic, clarity, purity they have. Otherwise, they will destroy themselves. They will say everything is divine. Then they will eat and drink and do anything. What morality? No, nothing is moral, nothing is immoral. Why? Everything is divine. Or they misunderstand saying ki I am not the karta at all, so I can do anything and get away with it. No. There's a misuse of the philosophy. But if one uses it properly, it is meant to liberate us, to make us realize, Arey, Bhagwan alone is everywhere. Then I don't live. That's why, Akhandanand ji very nicely he says that Bhakt jo hai, wo Bhagwan ke anugrah ki pratiksha nahi karta, samiksha karta hai. Pratiksha meaning one is not waiting for God's grace. One is seeing God's grace in everything. Even in so-called bad things and difficult things, one will have dhairya, titiksha and let it pass. Some negative karma is getting destroyed. Bhagwan knows the best. Leave it. Do the duty. If something has to be done as a duty, I do it. But no victimization. No disillusionment saying, why did this happen to me? What wrong have I done? Nothing. Go through it with dignity. Why? Because he knows everything. If the whole Srishti, Bhagwan says so nicely in this Varaha Puran, if you see that Gita Mahatmyam, one of the things that is said there is Bhagwan is saying, Gita Jnanam Upashritya Trin Lokan Palayam Yaham. Abiding in the knowledge of the Gita, I run this whole Srishti and I take care of the whole Srishti. Bhagwan abides in this knowledge and runs the whole Srishti. We have to run one life of ours, one family of ours. Happily we can learn, we can abide in this knowledge and go through as though Bhagwan did not have problems in life. He also had, and so many more he had than us. But the power of knowledge is this. So, one is this, to understand that Bhagwan alone appears as this whole Srishti. And when he appears as the whole Srishti, in us also is the Bhagwan, outside us also there is Bhagwan. So this division of inside outside is only based on the body. That one drops. Then one sees there is only one truth. So yad adityagatam tejaha jagad bhasayate khilam. Now every time one sees the sun, the moon, the fire, the mind should think this is divine. Ishvara is manifest in front of me. What bhavana we have when we go to a mandir or when we go in front of our Ishta Devata, that is the bhavana that one will have when one sees the whole Srishti. The worship of Bhagavan in a particular form is so that we build the bond with the divine, we surrender the ego so that we see the divine everywhere, in everything. Prahlad did not have any hesitation to say that that pillar has Bhagavan. He didn't have any doubt. I mean, what a situation when his life is at threat. Hiranyakashipu is holding his sword in the hand and wanting to kill this Prahlad. No fear. Why? Because he is a Kritatma. He has done what needs to be done. He has lived in self-control, worships Bhagavan, surrendered, has the intellectual clarity. Naradji satsang he had got. Says, yes, Bhagavan is everywhere. Is in the pillar? Yes, he is in the pillar also. And then Bhagavan manifests. So, this is the what we call as the immanent nature of Bhagavan. These verses now, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, this will talk about the immanent nature of Bhagavan. And the transcendental nature of Bhagavan will be the last set, where we say Uttama Purusha, which is why 15th chapter is the essence. It has samsara, it has about the jiva, it has the immanent nature of Bhagavan, transcendental nature of Bhagavan, everything. So immanent nature meaning one who is all pervasive. See, this is what we have to remember. A culture, this is one of the reasons why our culture is also called Sanatana Dharma, because we are very clear that each one's nature is that one consciousness and we are Sanatan by our true nature. And everyone and everything is divine for us. Such a beautiful culture of ours. Contrast this to those cultures who don't even accept the existence of other person, forget seeing oneness. If you don't believe in their ideology, you deserve to be converted or killed. What a fanatic ideology that is. And then appeasement happens for them. And the Sanatan Dharma followers who are seeing oneness have to go through torture because of that. So one has to wake up to this fact. Why are we only supposed to be secular and accommodate everybody? Others can't accommodate. Why should they not? And God, who gives them the right to just go kill and convert? And they act as though it is, their because they are empowered. So beautiful culture of ours and our great ancestors of all different sections of the society, Brahmanas, Rishis, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, everybody, they have fought to preserve and protect this culture because this thought process should not go. Where we see oneness everywhere, we don't discriminate. Otherwise, caste, creed, community, gender, nationality, skin color, what all we human beings have created to divide and kill each other. This is a culture which sees oneness. Oneness at existential level, oneness at five elements level, oneness as human beings, oneness in value systems, everywhere. Oneness in the divinity, where there is difference. But we have forgotten all this. Then we are also stuck with all petty differences in different ways. Fight and kill, or separate from each other and create so many factions. So one has to come back to the vision of oneness, that there is only one truth. So even if you see beauty of this oneness is this, even if you see Dvaita standpoint, God is different from the Jiva, The bhav of a Dvaitik Bhakta is what? Ki all of us are Dvaiting, all of us are servants of Bhagwan. So oneness is there in that. We all are servants. So it's not necessary that oneness has to be only at Advaitic level, which is there, no doubt. All of us are the servants of the divine. If that bhav is there, I am also a servant, he is also a servant. I am a devotee, he is a devotee, she is also a devotee. We all are devotees. And as devotee, there is no one superior and inferior. Bhagavan himself says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshosti na priya. In 5th chapter he said, I am equal to all beings, nobody is extremely dear to me, nobody I hate. He acts out of compassion towards all. So if I see oneness even in Dvaita, ki all of us are bhaktas. It's not that I am a bhakta and you are one asura. I am very great in my bhakti, you are a atheist, you are a useless fellow. No. The bhakta in fact thinks that today he is not aware of the glory of Bhagwan, let me try. And in Bhagwan's kripa he will become one day aware, that's all. One is not having the psychological sense of superiority. If one has, then one has to grow in devotion still. Vishishtadvaita also, if you see I am a part, you are the whole, then all the parts belong to the whole. So we are all parts of the same one whole. Again there is oneness there. Advaita, so anyway we see oneness, ki there is no part, there is no whole, there is no servant, there is no master, there is one infinite consciousness, nothing else exists. Everything else is illusory, mithya only. So there is only oneness. That's why it is Sanatan, it is eternal, that oneness can never be destroyed. But as a dharma which has codified this, which has preserved this knowledge, it has been preserved because of lot of sacrifices, and even there it is not happened ki bhai we have not lost so much part of our land, we have already lost. Geographically, politically, demographically, now we are losing what is there here. So one has to become alert. One can't be asleep saying ki yeah, we believe in oneness and let anybody come and attack and destroy us. That one clarity one must have. The whole body is my body, no doubt. But if there is a cancerous growth, I will have to amputate that and remove it. Otherwise, the whole body will be destroyed. But one does it without any dvesha because one has to do, unfortunately, what has to be done has to be done. So, oneness one should see. Yadaditya Gatam Teja Jagadbhasayate Khilam speaks about the immanent nature of Bhagavan. Now Bhagavan comes from the world to the up to the individual, he will say, where all he is pervading. Because immanence is not only outside us, it is here also. So now you see the 13th verse where Bhagavan says that Gama Vishyacha Bhutani Dharayamyaham Pushnami Chaushadhi Sarvaha Somo Bhutva Rasatmakaha. Now sun and moon and fire, celestial bodies, now the earth also. Bhagavan says, Gam avishyacha bhutani dharayami. Having entered the earth, how? Through the sun, moon, all the rays and all that, 5 elements. Bhagavan says, I am the ojas, I am the physical strength, and I uphold this earth as well as all the beings. Now again somebody say, no, earth is upheld by gravity, Swamiji, what is this? See, one can say a gravitational force, but again I am saying it is the will of the divine that there is a gravitational force. There is a sentient entity, the intelligent lawmaker is there, who says, let there be gravity and let the things be built, held by this. And it is happening. Otherwise, one has to believe in randomness. So, he says, Gam avishyacha bhutani dharayami. I sustain the beings having entered through the earth. Meaning what? Through the food. Bhutani, not only human beings, all the beings, the food that they get grows from the earth. See the power now, from where? That seed is put inside, it has prana shakti, and that it goes into the earth, and some water, rain, whatever will happen, and then slowly it will sprout, breaking the hard crust of the earth, and it will sprout, and slowly it will grow, become the plant, become the tree, then fruits, flowers, so many things. And this goes on. So the food that we eat and the physical energy that we have also is Bhagwan's power only. And which is why one should be very thankful to Bhagwan that each day we have energy. We happily eat food and we sleep. Who is doing all that digestion? That he says ahead now. But that vitality in that food, the fertility in that soil, the light of the sun, the quality of the water to nurture, nourish, all that is Bhagwan's will and the power of the divine that this is there. So when one sees the earth, when one is walking, that's why one says in our Sanatan Dharma, we pray for forgiveness, saying Samudra Vasane Devi Parvatastana Mandale Vishnu Patni Namastubhyam Padasparsham Kshamaswami Bhagava. Oh, Mother, I am putting my feet on you, please forgive me. It's not about saying the shloka, it's about having the bhav ki this is divine. Bhagwan is there in this earth. And Bhumi Mata is bearing me. I am walking on the earth. That awareness of the divinity is more important. In that we forget our individuality. Gamavishya bhutani dharayami aham ojasa. And if I understand that the physical power also that I have to see, hear, taste, smell, touch, walk, talk, do anything, act and achieve, that physical power is coming from Bhagwan. No, no, Swamiji, I am going to gym and I am doing, every day I am working out hard. Very good, but who set that system into process? Even if you do resistance training, you will build muscles and you will have this and you will have that and six-pack abs and fat loss will happen and all that. Who made that system? We only discovered that system and we are still discovering only. And we will keep discovering. But that power in us is there because of the divine. And it is there in all the beings. Dharayami aham ojasa bhutani, he says. No, Swamiji, what about these animals? They are not eating things of the earth. The carnivorous animals. They are eating herbivorous animals. They are eating that which is born from the earth. So, gamavishya cha bhutani dharayami aham ojasa. Then he says, Pushnami cha aushadhi sarvaha. All the aushadhis. Herbs, medicinal herbs. And for us, food is supposed to be medicine. That's why it's called aushadhi. Bhiksha aushadam bhujyatam, Shankaracharya says in Sadhana Panchakam. Food is medicine actually. Today we believe more in the pills, but actual medicine is food. If I eat food as medicine, then many things can be set right in the body. We don't eat food as medicine, we eat food unmindfully. Then we have to eat medicine as the food. But otherwise, food, what is all the deficiency and so many things which we say? Then we are eating pills because we are not getting in the right quantity, we are not eating enough, and we don't know which is in what. Nothing wrong in eating any pills. I'm just saying that Bhagwan is saying this, that I am nurturing the whole creation through the vital energy, ojas. He used the word very nicely, ojas. Dharayami aham ojasa. Ojas is the physical vitality in the body. When we do spiritual sadhana, when we do mantra japa, we live in self-control, when we do karma yoga, when our mind is surrendered to the divine, when we do reflection, dhyan, meditation, seva, yatra, upavas, japa, tirtha, all this when we do sadhanas, that physical ojas will transform into spiritual tejas. Nowadays people call it aura. Okay, aura, call it. The presence of that person is enough. They don't have to speak also sometimes. That presence of a person who has integrated the body, mind, and intellect transforms so many around. So, our privilege as a human being is the ability to convert ojas into tejas. Physical energy into spiritual glow we can convert. Otherwise, the physical energy we are draining away. Prana Shakti which is there in us, Bhagavan gave us so much of Prana Shakti. We are just draining it away. We are just eating, drinking, indulging, and gone. All Prana Shakti gone. And we say, I am exhausted. I don't have time now to study. Can't do meditation. Very stressful is my life. If I am doing my duty also, if I do it with the bhav ki I am serving Bhagavan only through this, yes, there may be pressure of work, but I still do with that bhav. Then I am transforming that physical exhaustion, fatigue, etc. into tejas. Joy will be there in work. Okay, Bhagwan put me in this place. I have to do this duty. I will do. And do it nicely. Why crib and complain? If I have to do it happily, do it nicely. And then when one says ki done, now time is up, I've done what has to be done, and then withdraw and sit and do japa. Every day if I train myself ki half an hour japa, I'm able to withdraw everything from and then do and then get into action and remember it is for Bhagwan, then I will transform ojas into tejas. Once in 15 days do one fasting. If one can't do only water, then do with just one time fruit and milk. If one can't do that, then one time eat cereal wala food. But live in sense control. That is the way to transform ojas into tejas. So Bhagavan says that he gave that capability to us. And rishis have given the whole technology to us ki how to do this. And people who have done it, they have seen the results of it also. Now these people are discovering all this so thoda thoda dhire dhire dhire, and we all want to get the thappa of the West for everything. That is where we are stuck. This Jalaneti, how many years we have been doing Jalaneti? Yogic method it is. Today you see one post I was just reading how they are saying now this Jalaneti is washing viruses out of your nose and throat can help you to get better faster. Some 66 adults in that they have done this research, and what are they calling it? Hypertonic saline nasal irrigation and gargling. Arey bhai sahab, we are doing water, salt water dalo and do the nasal irrigation. You are calling it some sophisticated word, nasal irrigation and gargling. Arey, whenever we have throat problem, we put some salt and we start gargling. What else? Now they did research and they find it is quite effective and all that. This is nothing but appropriation of our practices and giving it some big name. And then we think, yeah, now this is scientific. Why? Because now data is backing it up, you know. Why do you need data for everything? I don't say that data should not be there. But something which has been time tested and people have been practicing and you are seeing the result and it is not harmful. It is only beneficial. Then see it and do it. Understand its impact. Then you add science to it if you want, but don't call it some hypersonic nasal irrigation. It is Jal Neti. Why? Because you see, this is where the appropriation happens. Everything then gets completely appropriated by the West. Now see this Kapalabhati, they call it as Wim Hof. Pranayam, they call it box breathing. Yoga Nidra is NSDR. Bhramari is called humming. Then Jalneti is called as nasal irrigation. Trataka is candle gazing. Dhyan is become mindfulness. Abhyanga is oil therapy. Panchakarma is detox treatment. And best part is, I mean, the tragedy of this is you and I forget the original. We start using these English terms. All of us say now box breathing. Let us do box breathing. What is this box breathing? Tell the original word, na, this pranayam. And that pranayam has different types of pranayam. Purak, Rechak, Kumbhak, you know, When we say Purak, then Antar Kumbhak, then Rechak, then Bahish Kumbhak, when all the four are in the same ratio, 4 is to 4 is to 4 is to 4, whatever. 4 times you breathe in, 4 counts you breathe in, 4 counts you hold, 4 counts you exhale, 4 counts you hold. Saman, same. Box breathing. We have forgotten, our people also will forget. After some time, you see the next generation, they will not know the word Surya Namaskar. They will say sun salutation. They will not know 12 mantras associated with it. They will not know the names of the poses. Adho Mukha Shvanasana, they will not know. They will say dog pose, mountain pose. Parvatasana, they will not know. Mountain pose. Bhujangasana, they will not know. Cobra pose. So we should be clear. So when our Sanatan Dharma is saying all this is how the preservation of this culture has to happen. When we learn to follow those practices and retain its traditional name, its depth. Otherwise, anything is happening. Yoga, which is supposed to be uniting us with the divine, has been brought down to completely physical level. So when we are talking here, when Bhagavan says ki how as human being we have got the choice, we can transform. He gave us ojas and he gave the technology of how to transform it into tejas and get out of cycle of birth and death. Gamavisya cha bhutani dharayamyaham ojasa pushnami chaushadhi sarvaha. He says he has become the moon and he nourishes the whole plant kingdom. Soma bhutva. Soma means Chandra, moon. And the nectarine rays of the moon, how much sun rays are important. Sunlight is important for whatever photosynthesis and other things. Same way moonlight is also important. If you see so many farmers, they will expose the seeds to the moonlight before they sow it. So both sunlight, moonlight, both are necessary. And the fertility on the earth is affected by both. And that's why they're plowing and then the soil has to come up, etc. Because it's getting re-exposed to both sun and moon. And so the nutrients and many things come into the aushadhi, into the plant through that moonlight. So he says, Somo bhutva rasatmakaha, the juiciness comes from the moon as though. Now, Bhagavan said about the external. He said, he became the sun, he becomes the moon, he becomes the fire, he becomes the vitality in the earth, and through the moon rays, he only, nurtures the minerals and whatever we say, the rasa, the juice and all that, the vitality of that fruit or a vegetable or the green leaves, whatever it is all coming from this, which is Bhagavan's Prakriti, which is Bhagavan's only glory. Now, when we eat that food, then what happens? Bhagavan says, so food, he has only become food actually. Who is appearing as the food is he. Who is appearing as the luminaries is he. Who is appearing as the earth from where the food is being produced is he. Now, when we eat the food, this is one of the reasons why we chant this 15th chapter before food, because the whole process of food and we eating it and then it digesting in us and producing energy, everything is divine. With that bhav, if I eat the food, it's not only gratitude. Please remember, a big difference is there in this. When we say, thank you, O God, for the food that you have kept in my plate and whatever we say, that is one aspect which we can do, nothing wrong with that, which is very good. We feel grateful that Bhagavan, this food is there and I'm very thankful, I'm grateful, and I don't, like Upanishad says, annamna nindya, don't criticize food, annamna parichakshita, don't waste food, annam bahu kurvita, produce more food, all that, so we have that bhav of gratitude. But our culture doesn't stop with gratitude. It makes food also as a means to realize oneness. At one level, yes, gratitude. I am a creature and he is the creator and he has provided this food for my nourishment and he only has become this food. But at a deeper level, it is this that every single thing is divine. So food also is Brahman. Annam Brahmeti Vyajana. This Brahman, Anna only is Brahman. Food is Brahman, the eater is Brahman, the act of eating, the fire inside, everything is Brahman. So we say Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi, Brahma Agno, Brahmanahutam. And what is the purpose of it? Brahmaivatena Gantavyam. By eating this food, I want to do sadhana, to have energy to do sadhana, so that I will realize Brahman only. Look at that bhav. This we learnt in 4th chapter. The shloka is in the 4th chapter, Brahmarpanam. So the idea is that food also I'm eating and reminding myself that this is to nurture the body. This is Bhagwan's divine presence in this body. So the whole body also belongs to Bhagwan then. I am not this body then. This Bhagwan's body, because Bhagwan only became the food becomes the body. Bhagwan is only in the digestion. He is only the Agni and he is only digesting, he is only assimilating, everything he is doing. I, as the small little individual, have no existence. That is the realization one has to have, which means that one will realize I am infinite. Think about it. The highest knowledge of absolute truth, you are infinite, is the vision behind even the simplest of act of eating food. So now we see the uh, next shloka. अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम्. So Bhagavan says, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva. I only have become the Vaishvanara Agni. Praninam Deham Ashrita. I am in the body of the pranas, of the pranis. Not only human beings. Anywhere metabolism is happening, in a plant also, in an animal also, bird also, anywhere. That metabolic fire is Bhagavan. Systems in each one are different, no doubt. But that, like the whole photosynthesis, what is happening, that whole system may be different from the way food is digested in us. But that system, Bhagavan says, I am managing that. I only have become that Agni. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritaha. And we say, where is God? Inside you, as the heartbeat, next sloka will say, and as the digestive fire. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritaha. And what are you doing there, Bhagavan? Prana Pana Samayukta. I balance the prana and apana and I digest the food which is made up of, which is classified into 4 types of food. What are these four types of food? So what is to be chewed? What is what we say to be drunk or swallowed? What is to be sucked? And what is to be licked? These are 4 types of food. Bhojya, Peya, Chosya and Lihya. Bhojya, Peya, Chosya, Lehya. What is to be solid food which you have to chew? Then Peya is what is to be drunk, swallowed. Then what is to be sucked, like a mango or anything like that. And what is to be licked, some pickle, chutney, whatever it is. He says these 4 types of food I balance, prana, apana. Technically, if we see apana vayu goes downwards, prana vayu goes upwards, and in between is samana. That's why he says prana, apana, samayukta. And when the energy is released, then vyana will take it everywhere and assimilate it. And Udana Vayu is there, which helps us in the creative thinking and all that. And also, it is the one which ejects the prana out of the body at the time of death. So, the whole prana shakti in us also is Bhagwan. The food that we eat also is Bhagwan. The body has the physical muscles and all this, bone and the items, blood and everything is that food which is Bhagwan. Capability in mind to think and feel is Bhagwan. Senses are able to perceive because of Bhagwan. Where is my existence? If Bhagwan is not there, nothing will happen. Yena vina trinam api na chalati. Without whom not even a blade of grass can move. That is the infinite consciousness. So the more one remembers these verses, the immanent nature of Bhagwan will help me to understand what? Ki I have no existence. There is only one truth, all pervasive, pass. That will straight away take me to the transcendental nature. So this verse is again a very nice verse where Bhagwan speaks about how he digests the whole food, produces the whole energy, gives us the freedom, and what all we eat, how all we eat, what all habits one has, Bhagwan does. Our body adjusts and adapts so many things. So, but we should learn. Because of that, one should not be ignorant and just continue whatever one is doing. Find out what is good, what is not good for the body. Become aware what is adulterated, what is not good, what is simply marketed as glorious but is harmful actually. Become more aware and make right choices so that the body can be nurtured, nourished. Unnecessarily, we don't go through all kinds of trouble and sickness and disease and spoil our health. So, aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva, Bhagwan is the Vaishwanar Agni in the hearts of, in the stomach of the human beings and metabolic fire in all the other. Nowadays, people measure MBR. What is your metabolic rate? So, your age may be something, but your metabolic rate will be something else. So, they will say your body's age is this much, but your chronological age may be this much. You may be 60 years old, but based on your whatever, the fat percentage and the metabolic rate and all that, BMI and everything you put together and say your age is, actual age of the body is only 45 years. Your body chronologically may look 60 years. Thank Bhagwan for it, okay? Because he's sitting and doing his job. He's doing all this metabolism and we are happily eating and sleeping and taking rest and he's working hard. Full day he has to work. In many homes in Bharat, we have that, as though it has become a tradition now that Sunday means we have to go out and eat. If you tell them to cook on Sunday, it is like a crime, especially Sunday evening. Don't. We have cooked for 6.5 days. Sunday evening is our birthright to go out and eat. They at least get that 1-2 times in a week chutti. You go out, you don't have to cook. Here, Bhagwan doesn't get any chutti only. 24/7, 365 days, he has to do his work. Metabolic fire. If that goes off, finished. So, gratitude one has, as well as vision of oneness one thinks, Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashita. How nice it is that Bhagwan is in me. Even if one thinks from Dvait standpoint, Bhagwan is in me as the metabolic fire. Then he says, I only am in the hearts of all the beings also. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha matta smritirjnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarvairahameva vedyaha vedanta krit veda videva chaham. Now he comes to the core. From outside he has come to inside. This is how Bhagwan has given. From the sun onwards he started. Now he has come here. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishta. He says, I am also in the hearts of all the beings. How? As the existence, aham, pure consciousness, I. He is there in the hearts of all. Which is why Bhagwan is Antaryami. He knows everything before even we think about it. It is with His grace thought comes. So He is aware of the thought before it even arises. Any emotion, action, anything that arises, first is consciousness, then everything else will happen. So He is that consciousness in us. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha. Again, see in all these verses, one beautiful thing you observe. Bhagavan has spoken about every being. I am the Ojas in all the beings. I am the Vaishwanara in all the pranis. I am this, in consciousness in the hearts of all the beings. But who is able to recognize? Who can use this Ojas power? Who can use this metabolic fire? Who can use this presence, consciousness as Aham in the heart? Only human being can use this and recognize, Kya, my nature is that. So, he says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishta. I am in the hearts of all the beings. So everyone is sacred and divine. Then, matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha. He says, from me is the memory, from me is the knowledge, and from me is forgetfulness also. Swamiji, now I came to know why I have memory problem. It is because of Bhagavan, I can't remember only half the things. Bhagavan is to blame because from Bhagavan only is forgetfulness coming. What is the meaning of Smriti? In the commentary, Shankaracharya ji and Anand Giri, they have written this. Smriti here means the ability to remember not only this past, the past of this life, but sometimes even the past life memories. Matta Smritihi. Jnanam is what I gain now. In this life also, and plus whatever I have gained earlier, that also we carry forward in our life. We may not remember particular knowledge, but we have the inclination towards it. And then when that is to manifest, that will manifest also. Like a great musician may not remember exactly everything what he learned in the past life, but has great tendency for great, uh, mind and intelligence towards music, and it will manifest. Picks up music so fast and is able to create such beautiful music. Is all because the past tendencies are there. So memories of this life and past life, knowledge of this life and past life, both. And of course, more focus is to gain knowledge now and the capability in the buddhi to gain knowledge now. So, matta smritihi jnanam, and forgetfulness is also of the past life. Why? Because if we don't forget that, we will have deep trouble. Bhagavan is not saying that forgetfulness in this context is our forgetfulness out of laziness, lethargy, inalertness. Not that. Here, forgetfulness is of the past. Because of Bhagavan's grace, it is good that we don't remember, or otherwise think about it. People ask that question, Swamiji, if we remembered our past life, then we would know why we did, what wrong we did in the past, because of which I'm getting this result. So at least I would be able to learn, from that. For that, I don't need memory of the past life. For that, I need only introspection on present life. Because if I know the memory of past life, then so many other factors I will have to keep in my mind and it will start influencing my present moment. In this life only, the memories of this life I am not able to put aside and see a person objectively or see myself objectively. If I know my past life, so many things, how will I? What is required to learn from the past is reflection. I don't need memories for that. At some point in my life, at that time, whatever happened, if I reflected well, the lesson would be with me and the experience would go away. That's all is required. And even if I don't have that, in this life, I can do my introspection. I can understand, okay, there must be some reason why this type of a thought pattern is there in me. Now I recognize this is wrong thought pattern. Let me replace with the new one. That's all is required. I'm not saying don't do past life regression and all that. If you want to do, that is your choice. Go and do. But that is not necessary. If it was necessary, Bhagwan would not have done this. Now, why would he say that, I have created a system where you forget your past lives? In fact, a baby is realigning its mind. That's why it sleeps for a long time and it relives many things of the past lives. And so it will suddenly laugh, cry, wake up shocked, all that it will happen, it will go through. Why? Because the memory is getting reorganized and getting more and more ready for this present new manifestation. So, matta smritihi jnanam apohanam cha. If you listen to Gurudev, he says so beautifully that there is this, the sequence of gaining knowledge is this smritihi jnanam and apohanam. More of it I will take in the next class. For today, I will stop here because it will take more time and I don't want to leave that thought in half. But you reflect about it, think about it. Why did he say that the process of gaining knowledge has these three steps? Smritihi, Jnanam and Apohanam. We'll reflect on it in the next class. So we thank all our Yajmans. So the Mukhya Yajmans for this whole series, अजय कसोटिया जी, तराना खुबचंदानी जी, कल्पना मोरपारिया जी, परागवाग, अजय मर्चेंट जी, भरत खन्ना जी, दीपिका बख्शी जी and वंदना जगवानी जी. गीता आती अजमान for all sessions, विनो मुंशी जी, दीप्ति गांधी जी, ज्योत्सना नेवातिया जी, रश्मि आनंद जी, राजन सक्सेना जी, विपुल दलाल जी, हेमंत कुमार जी, नलिनी काया जी and सुधीर मर्चेंट जी. The दैनिक यजमान for today, Shantanu Dablis ji, Shweta Shah, Chittur Manohar ji and Jayalakshmi Nair ji. And the Aarti Yajmans for today are Nirupa Srinivasan ji, Vaishali Sanghvi ji, Veena Chatlani ji. So we invoke Bhagwan's grace, Gurudev's blessings on all of them, their families and everyone present here. May Bhagwan bless us with this vision of immanence of the divine. May we recognize Bhagwan all around us and within us, and may our life be filled with devotion, surrender, gratitude, and absolute bliss. Om Tat Sat, Jai Shri Krishna.
ॐ जय भगवद्गीते मैया जय भगवद्गीते हरिः कमलविहारिणि सुन्दर सुपुनि ॐ जय भगवद्गीते कर्म सुमर्म प्रकाशिनि कामासक्तिहरा तत्त्वज्ञान विकास
श्री श्री कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की जय, श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. So the question is, when consciousness knows our thoughts even before we know them, then how do we use this fact to live life in a way that we can achieve self-realization? So bhakti standpoint, we say Bhagwan knows a thought even before it rises. So we may have our thoughts, but we should learn to accept whatever result comes in the life as Bhagwan's prasad, and also offer our karta bhav to Bhagwan, saying that I am not the karta, Bhagwan is the karta. Bhagwan only knows, Bhagwan's prerna, whatever is happening is happening. So focus remains on Bhagwan, not on I, not on my ego. Knowledge standpoint, we say that Bhagwan is the consciousness in us, which is enlivening factor. Consciousness does not bother about what is the quality of thought that is rising. That is your freedom. If my goal is self-realization, then I have to shift from the content of the thought to awareness, which is illumining the thought, or consciousness, which is illumining the thought. And that I can do only when the quality of the thought is sattvic. So the more I raise my quality of thought and make it sattvic, the more I can stand apart and watch. Okay, I am the sakshi, I am the witness, I am consciousness. Thought comes and thought goes. I am not the thought. So that is what we can do. Either you shift to witness attitude and say I am consciousness, or you surrender as a devotee saying Bhagwan knows everything and I will do only what befits a bhakta, which will make Bhagwan happy. If something doesn't make Bhagwan happy, I will not do that. And then karta bhav, bhokta bhav, give up, then one will realize the truth. All right. Anything else? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om.